It is now time for our feature presentation. Spoiler warnings. It is time for our first review tonight. We have the Academy Award winning director Peter Jackson's very first film, Bad Taste.
We've got trouble.
Good word.
Right, we're on our way.
Tomorrow we're having you for lunch.
What are we gonna do if we're spotted, Frank? Go, Frank!
Jeez, the real tickets.
Derek was right all along.
Get down. That's the end of those weekend cowboys. What's up, boss?
You go on. I'm gonna go back and stop those
Wankers.
God's sake, Oz, put that thing down. Let's get in there and hit the leader. Derek! You all right?
Get the launcher!
Well, coming into Bad Taste, I had such low expectations, especially since Dwayne watched it before I did and told me how horrible it was. So I had lower expectations. And I'm glad I did because I actually enjoyed this film. Yes, the first 20-30 minutes was a little rough. But the more I got into it, the more I enjoyed it. Dwayne, what were your thoughts of this film?
Okay, so yeah, I texted you and I said about 20 minutes after it started, I wanted to turn it off. I was that disappointed. I was that not angry at the film, but it was like, who made this? I know Peter Jackson made it. I know he's an award-winning director. I love Lord of the Rings and King Kong, and another one was movies, Brain Dead. I liked, but I did not like Bad Taste that much. And I'm glad I watched it all the way through. It got better. After that first 20-30 minutes, it got better. But I wasn't very, how to say it? I didn't like it as much as I wanted to. I really wanted to like it, and I just didn't.
Yeah, I remember we jumped into it, and Tasia for the first, well, for the whole movie, she goes, "What the fuck did you make me watch?" But I was like, at first I was in agreeance. Okay, yeah, this is kind of goofy. Like, so the plot is aliens are invading a small town, and this group of badasses called the Boys are going to investigate. And they're kind of just going around and fighting the aliens. And the aliens look like random humans.
Just like regular humans, like they're regular old people.
Yeah, like regular, like they look like people, you know. And it's not like I'm an alien reviewing this movie.
Yeah.
They look like they're regular Earthlings. No, they regular people who just kind of aggressive at first. I wasn't sure if it was aliens. At first I thought it reminded me of George A. Romero's The Crazies,
Sure.
where the people were just going crazy and killing
Yeah.
motherfuckers. So I was like, what the hell? And then, like, you know, at one point they captured one of the aliens, and he's like, it's an alien, but it looked like a human. And like the only thing he had to go on was the human was just like bobbing his head around and making silly faces. I was like, are you sure? He could just be special. Like, then he starts stabbing the guy in the foot. And yeah, it's just kind of weird. But somehow, like, it got better for me. Now, yes, the effects were hit and miss. Some effects, you know, you're like, oh, okay, I could do that. I know how they did that. But, you know, for a shoestring budget that they had, some of it I found impressive. I actually watched a documentary. I sent it to Dwayne, who told me to fuck off. He didn't watch it. But I watched this little documentary about this film, and, you know, they were like, it took them 4 years to film it. They filmed it on their days off from work, and, like, they didn't even write really a script for it. Peter Jackson just, throughout the week, he goes, okay, this is what we're going to do this weekend, and kind of, like, went with it. And so, you know, like, it makes sense because, like, from start to finish, the mood changes a lot. Like, at one point, they're fighting a town, fighting aliens, and then they're going to this mansion and they have, like, an hour-long shootout. And then, at the very end, it gets wacky and they're out in space. You know, so it definitely feels like it's constantly evolving, this film. I don't know, I just somehow, the cheesiness and the shoestring budget thing, it kind of impressed me, you know, just some aspects of how they were able to do this. And, like, seeing him come from this to fucking Lord of the Rings, I was very impressed by that. The one thing about this movie, the acting was not great. Surprisingly, Peter Jackson is in this movie, and he's actually my favorite character in the whole film. He plays a few characters, but my favorite being the character called Derek. He's one of the guys who's like one of the main characters who's investigating this, and he's like the nerdy guy of the group, and he actually looks like a nerdier Harry Potter, if you could believe that. Even with a fucking scarf, you know, I'm pretty sure Harry wore that at one point. And then, I don't know, this character is just like a goofball. And I thought, honestly, it was kind of weird that the director, Peter Jackson, was, to me, the best actor in the film. That shocked me. And his character, Derek, goes this weird arc. He gets knocked off a cliff. And you think he's dead for half the fucking film. Then halfway through, he gets back up, and the back half of his skull pops open with his brains popping out, which was to me, I thought it was freaky and didn't make any sense. But visually, I thought it was a really cool, like, sight gag to see his head pop back open, and every now and then he'd put more brains in his brain. I was like, I don't think it works that way, but I don't know. It was very memorable to me. And Dwayne.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to talk about. Talk about being memorable. He falls off a cliff, hits the bottom, splatters. They show blood splatter everywhere. His legs flying off, are all crazy. Then all of a sudden he's alive, and he picks his head up, and it's like he has to put his brains back in. And there's like a little clip on the back of his head to hold his head together. Then he puts like a headband around his head to hold his skull together with his brains in. That gets knocked off later on. Like you said, he grabs somebody else's brains and puts them in, and then puts a belt on his head. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's definitely a goofball, funny, slapsticky kind of film. And I don't know why, but he's the only guy I thought was halfway believable. The rest were just like, you know, you could tell they were just his buddies. You know. It is kind of nice seeing a bunch of friends, you know, come together and make this film. In fact, one of the characters, who was one of his buddies, the movie took 4 years to make, right? And during the filming, he got married, his wife didn't like him gone on weekends, so he stopped filming the movie, and they got divorced, and he came back in the movie towards the end of the film, and I was like, God damn. But I thought that was kind of a little cool fact, and yeah, really. So I didn't really like any of the actors besides Peter Jackson, and I did like the main villain, Dr. Crumb, who was the leader of the aliens. I thought he was actually kind of cool. He actually died, I think, towards the end of filming. That actor.
Okay.
Yeah, he was Dr. Crumb. He was the main bad guy. He's the one on the cover. So the plot is, and it took a while to me to figure out what the fucking plot was. So they're investigating this weird thing going on in a small town in New Zealand, and it turns out aliens are taking over humans and using human meat to, I guess they're going to use it for their new fast food chain, all this human meat. Which, if you ever played the game Oddworld, it kind of reminds me of Oddworld, which is a PS1 game where there's these galactic aliens that use alien meat in their like fast food products, and they keep making aliens extinct. So it says like, oh, coming soon this, and it goes out, and then they have a new one and it says out, and finally you get to the newest one, and the main character who's an alien, and he sees that it is his race, his alien race that is next. So the whole game, you're trying to get all your race out of this alien ship that's going to turn you guys to meat. Which is a really fun game. It did come out after Bad Taste, so maybe that Bad Taste was the inspiration for Oddworld.
That's me. My name is Abe. I was Employee of the Year. Now I'm dead meat. Hello, follow me.
But yeah, once they figure out where the aliens are at this big house, they all go there, and they just kind of walk in, and all the aliens are having this meeting, and they pick up this guy. The guy vomits green shit in a bowl, and they all take turns drinking it. And then one of the main characters who were kind of in there, they made him drink it. And apparently it was good because he went back and tried to get more of it. He was like, fuck yeah. And I thought it was disgusting because I was watching, I was like, that is foul. Seeing all that, those guys like drink that vomit from the bowl. And then after that, they get to like, Dwayne, how long was that goddamn shootout at the end?
It was pretty decent. It was a good 15-20 minute shootout.
Yeah.
For real.
And it was a little cheesy.
Yeah.
There was a cool fight scene to me. The chef, there's this big chef guy in the Aliens, and they actually had a cool fight with him. They threw him off his balcony, and he just fell face first in the pavement. I thought it was pretty cool. And then once they kind of start kicking their ass, you know, I don't know why, but halfway through the shootout, the aliens, they lose the human form and go
transform
to their real alien form. Did you think the aliens kind of look like former Vice President Dick Cheney?
No.
Okay, well, to me it did. I thought that's kind of weird. And also, the funniest thing ever, when the aliens transform, they kind of start getting, they're a little bit bigger, and like their clothes rip a little bit, and their fucking asses are so huge that all their asses busted down their pants.
Oh, you gonna take me home tonight? Oh, down beside that red firelight. Oh, you gonna let it all hang out? Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round. Hey, I was just a skinny lad, never knew no good from bad, but I knew life before I left my nursery. Left alone with big fat fatty, she was such a naughty natty. You big woman, you made a bad boy out of me. Hey, hey. I've been singing with my band, across the water, across the land. I've seen every blue-eyed floozy on the way. But their beauty and their style were kind of smooth after a while. Take me to their dirty ladies every time. Come on! Oh, won't you take me home tonight? Oh, down beside your red firelight. Oh, and you give it all you got, fat bottom girl. You make the rockin' world go round. Fat bottom girl, you make the rockin' world go round.
Alright, and then at the end of the film, Dr. Crumb, the main alien, he gets on a little bicycle thing and bicycles, and the fucking house starts blasting off, and it rips out off the ground and goes into space, which is so weird. Luckily, the heroes got out, except Derek, the Peter Jackson's character was in there, and then yeah, he just fucking flies off to space in his house, which is fucking ridiculous, but hilarious to me. And then as he's in space, he's heading back to their home world, and he hears a noise outside. He goes and investigates, and it's Derek. And somehow Derek jumps down with a chainsaw and goes inside Dr. Crumb's mouth, goes inside of him, and exits out his anus. And then he says, "I was like, I've been born again," which is just goofy. It's goofy fun. And then it gets fucking crazier. Derek puts on the alien skin, and he's going to go to their homeworld. He's going to fuck them all up. That's the plan. He goes, he kept saying, "Yeah, you bastards," and he's holding the chainsaw. Dwayne, I fucking love the ending to this film. They could not have ended it better. Greatest ending ever. Okay, it's not the greatest ending ever. But I love the fucking film. A movie's so goofy. It couldn't have had a better ending to me. Could the beginning and middle and everything else been better? Yes. Could the acting have been better? Yes. Minus Peter Jackson, who I thought was fucking flawless in this film. At first he was just like a snarky nerd, but after that fucking fall, he was a fucking psychopath, basically.
Yeah.
It changed his ass, and I don't know, I had a blast with the film. It's definitely not a masterpiece, but I definitely, to me, if the movie's fun, that's, that can get you a lot of way through some bad plot points. Dwayne, your thoughts?
Alright, well, I already talked about the guy falling and stuff. It's not a great movie. I did not like it as much as I wanted to. I did like parts of it. Of course, me thinking, where do these guys get machine guns? Like regular civilians, where do you go and just get a machine gun?
I think they work for like a secret agent group. Because if the guy with the weird finger,
Yeah.
they were called the Boys. So I think they're like a military group.
Sure.
They didn't explain it, what they were. They're just called a group called the Boys.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, watching it, and yeah, it got better as it went along, because like I said, that first 20 minutes I wanted to turn it off so bad, but I continued with it. I've been through pain in my life. I can go through that movie. And
I honestly didn't think Tazy was going to sit through the whole thing. She did.
I didn't want to, but I did.
Yeah.
But like you said, yeah, it got better. Once it got to the point where you actually found out it was aliens and the plot actually started going a little better, it got better. The effects weren't great. The acting was not great.
I did think the effect of Derek jumping through Dr. Crumb, I thought that was great. And I thought the, in the documentary I sent you, and then he politely told me to fuck off, Sean, it showed that they built two replicas of that, 2 or 3 replicas of the house. They built one for when they were shooting the rocket launchers at it and it was blowing up parts of the house. They built one for that, and then they built another one for when it goes out in space, and like the different replicas of the model. I thought that was phenomenal, and yes, some of the effects were a little cheesy, but I thought for how they did it, I was very impressed with what they did. When they did it right, I was impressed.
So one of the things I did laugh at was when they're assaulting the house where the aliens lived at the end, they shot a rocket launcher. Where they got the rocket launcher, I don't know. But they shot it, it went through a window and it hit a sheep in the background. The sheep blew
Yes.
up. So yeah, I did laugh at that.
And it won't be the last time a sheep dies on this episode.
Oh, that's what I was going to go
Yeah.
with. That actually made me laugh because, like, oh, we watched the movie Black Sheep too, so we had
Yeah.
a bunch of sheep getting killed in these movies. But like I said, it wasn't a movie I really enjoyed too much, but there were some good parts in it. I understand that they made it in '87, it took years to make it, all that stuff. You can tell by the effects that it was a shoestring budget. I don't hate the movie. I've seen worse movies, but it wasn't one I really enjoyed that much. But knowing how the background of the story and the background of how they made it and stuff, it's not a horrible movie. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 10.
Oh, 4 out of 10.
It's not decoder, so it's not a 1 or a -1 or whatever it was we did
Yes.
decoder. But it was not. I didn't hate the movie. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would.
Okay. Here are my pros and cons for Bad Taste. My pros. This movie has passion, heart, and such creativity to hide the small budget. Has some great kills. Peter Jackson as Derek. Some good special effects. Great ending. Good cheesy fun. The cons. Most actors are awful. The special effects could be a miss at times. The plot took a while for me to get into, and it was out there. The shootout went a little too long for me. I'm giving Bad Taste 5 fat bottom aliens out of 10.